Hey, what's going on? This is Ron Menchaca with Menchaca Channel. Inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. In this video, we're going to be talking about the art of failure. Now, I'm here to tell you today that you wouldn't be in the position that you're in today. You wouldn't have the advancements that you do today if it wasn't for those past failures that you've had in your life. Now, if you're good, you've learned from those mistakes in life, those failures in life, and you haven't been bitter in your life, and you can proceed forward. But only if you are keen enough to learn the lesson. We're talking about the art of failure. Sometimes to succeed, you have to go through a lot of failure in your life. And I know nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to stress the fact that, hey, you know what? You have to go through failure. And when you go through failure, you learn the lesson that's hidden inside of that failure. And you say to yourself, man, I never want to go through this again in my life. Who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do different? Has anything ever happened in your life where it's over and over and over again? And guess what? You repeat the same thing. It's because you're using the same methods. You're using the same things that has been destroying you and keeping you in the same level for a long time. And I'm reminded of the Bible, even when Moses came along and liberated the Israelites from the Egyptians, and they went into a wilderness or a desert, a dry place, right? God was with them. They saw miracles, signs, and wonders in even the wilderness. When it got cold at night, because it was a desert and it gets cold at night, guess what? Pillar of fire was over them to keep them warm. When it was hot during the day, guess what God did? He put clouds there. And guess what? They had everything they needed. God would give them manna, which is like a yeast, a bread kind of thing, and quail. I don't know if you've ever gone to a restaurant, but if you order quail, you're gonna pay some money. Man, I'm telling you. And when they were thirsty, guess what? They came to Moses and says, hey, what are you doing? We're thirsty. We need it. And out of a rock, guess what? Come flow water. And everybody got their thirst quenched. And I'm telling you, something that I learned from that story in the Bible is that it matters the grumbling and murmuring that occurs in your life. And so for 40 years, they remained in the desert going around and around and around because they weren't ready for the next level. They weren't ready for the promised land. And what happened? Promised land just 14 days away. That's it. A 14 days journey to the promised land. But why did they go round and round and round and round again for 40 years? Because of their complaining and murmuring. Can I just tell you that at one point in their lives, they said to themselves, oh man, we would want to go back to Egypt. You mean to tell me you'd rather go back to being a slave, working sun up, sun down, getting beat and everything? Well, at least they fed us. What? I'm telling you, your mindset has got to change. And if we're talking about the art of failure, you're going to have to look at failure a totally different way. In the New Testament, guess what Jesus said? In this life, this one that we're living right now, you're going to have trials. You're also going to have tribulations. And you have to even read past that. And he says, but be joyful, be cheerful, because I've overcome the world. In other words, there is a way to get through failures, to get through your trials and tribulations. There's a way you can succeed in life, but you're going to have to tweak your mindset. You're going to have to look at failure a different way. Now, what happens when you have failure in your life? The first thing is you're shocked. You're shocked that failure happened. And when that happens in your life, guess what? You look at it as yourself as a failure and you can't amount to anything. No. Start to discover what is the gem in that failure, so that you never have to go through that again. Now, my kids are older now. I got a daughter who's 20 years old. I got a son who's 17, on the verge of being 18. And I've taught them since they were little, when you confront a problem, a trial, a tribulation, give me at least 3 solutions to that problem. Now, I'm not against, pondering on what happened. The shock's going to happen. Whatever went wrong, whatever failure happened, you're going to have to look at it and say, hey, this failure happened. So you're going to have to look at that, but don't stay there. And many people stay there in that shock mode for years. And I've talked to people that, I haven't caught up with in 5-10 years, and they're still talking about the failure of their first divorce or the failure of success. They created a business and it failed, and they never ever again want to create another business. Can I just tell you that in the failure is your success? I always say this, and I don't know if you grasp what I'm saying when I do say this, but every mentor that I choose to be under, every leadership that I choose to be under, they have to have some scars on their back. They have got to have some things going on in their lives. They've gone through trials and tribulations, failures and all that, but they did not stay there. And the whole purpose of failure, the whole purpose of you going through something is simply so that you learn the lesson and you're able to reach out to someone else. Now, I have a lot of failures in my life, and maybe you have different failures. Maybe you didn't succeed in a relationship and you got married and then you had to get a divorce. And guess what? You'll learn that failure's gem. And when you do that, you can go to the next phase of your life. And if you learn the lesson, you're going to know what to look out for. Same thing in business, same thing in the church realm. There's a lot of church hurt, and we don't like saying that because it's more of a feelings and emotions and not a facts and principles. And I'm very big on facts and principles. I need the end result. I don't need the fluff in the middle and you crying about this and crying about no. That's okay. You got shocked. This happened to you, but tell me, what is the resolution to it? What is it that you're going to proceed forward with? And I'm telling you, if you learn the lesson in the art of failure, look at the things that has happened to your life. Not everything went smooth. Not everything happened the way you thought it was. So look at that. And when you start to examine that, be the kind of person that starts to pinpoint the weak spots and then strengthen those spots. I'm telling you, what you focus on grows. And sometimes you just have to let it go so that you can grow. I'm telling you, because as I'm raising my kids, my family, we're progressing, but it has to do through failure. We're going through the situation. What is the lesson to be learned? Who do I need to talk to? How can I never go through this again? What is it that I need to write down? And where did we go wrong? All these things, most people are not living on purpose and seeing what the problem is or what the gem of the failure is. And so there's remedies to this, but you're going to have to get active. And here at Menchaca Channel, inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles. In other words, there's kingdom principles that can motivate you and can inspire you to do better. But you're going to have to be intentional about the things that you want to do. So the art of failure, yes, it is an art, because if you look at failure as something that's bad, then you'll never see the gem or what life is trying to teach you in that moment. Now, I'm around successful people, and I love having conversations with those people, but I also know that there's certain boundaries that I need to have in my life. For the Bible says, guard your heart, because out of it are issues of life. If you don't want issues, you're going to have to create some boundaries. There's people, and you've heard me say it before, there's people I just talk business about. There's people I just talk about YouTube and social media and stuff. There's others I just talk about sports. Man, my favorite team, and they're going to win this weekend or not. Did they sign that player or didn't they? And I can have conversations about, I got musicianal friends that I just talk music with them. And then there's those elite friends that I can trust with my innermost things that I'm going through. And they pray with me, and they're not judgmental. They're not looking at me as, oh man, you know what, you're a failure. No. They are giving me advice. They're saying, okay, well, you went through this, recognize that. Now let's look at what you can do to remedy that thing. Don't stay there in the shock mode or in the depression mode where I failed and there's no way I can recover from this and all these things, because those cripple your life. And I'm telling you, just like I mentioned before, 5-10 years, I can be in contact with somebody I used to know in my past, and they're still talking about those things. They're still talking about, what they failed. And then, like, especially with divorce and relationship breakups and this and that, they become bitter instead of better. And when you become bitter instead of better, that bitterness grows, and now you hate all men, or now you hate all women, or all women are alike, or all this. You know what? It's you that needs to recognize, what do I need to look out for? How do I need to fix this? How do I do? You're not broken. You're in process. Understand that. And many times the second phase where you start to analyze and you start getting yourself down because you failed and you went through this and you went through that. Can I just tell you that it's a process? And so you might have failed, but even people with intelligence will tell you, hey, a man falls 7 times and 7 times he gets up. We have to dust ourselves off and we got to proceed forward. Yeah, I am not going to be defined by this failure. I learned the lesson. I moved on. I'm never going back to that particular failure. And guess what? You proceed in life. That's what it's about. Every successful person, I'm telling you, have gone through ups and downs because they just didn't know how to do it. Now, the remedy that I want to share with you is that you can expose yourself and confide in a mentor. When you do that, make sure that you get one that is experienced, that knows more than you, that's more intelligent than you, that is experiencing a lot of things in life way before you got here. And you get with these people and you ask questions. Hey, how do I do this? I'm about to venture off into this. How can I, do it to the best? Well, let me tell you, I went through that, 10 years ago, and I made these mistakes. Now, when you start to look at that, guess what? You're going to have to listen. You're going to have to listen. You might need to write it down. Because this is your life. This is your life, and you are a sum total of the decisions that you make. But if you don't ever want to look at failure as something that can help you, you're always going to hide it. You're always going to get to a point where, I don't want nobody to know about this. And guess what? Well, guess what? Your own intelligence is not going to get you beyond that. And you'll go through it again, because life cycles. And then if, like we were talking about a relationship, you always find out that those people who are always broken relationships or divorce, they always end up getting back with another person that's the same. They get back with a person that is the same type of person. And when you realize that, it changes you, and you have to make changes in life. So the art of failure is simply you learning the lesson from the failure. Get around people who are going to help you, who are going to extract the greatness within you. And you know what? I just appreciate people in my life that they're on purpose, because I have them there on purpose. And when a relationship is no longer productive and this and that, I kind of distance myself, not because I'm high and mighty, because I need to go forward. And there are just certain people who are just stagnant and they're not going nowheres. And you have to watch those people, especially take a look at your inner circle, the people who are close to you. Who do you have in your inner circle? Start to strengthen those. We have 5 kings and 5 queens, 10 couples, me and my wife and 4 other couples. And I guarantee you, I can go to them with anything. One lives in McGregor, one lives in Hutto, one lives in Gonzales, Texas. The other one lives in San Marcos. We live in the 512 area. Let me tell you, anything that we're going through, whether it's an illness, whether it's I'm about to venture off into this thing, what do y'all think? They have my back. Why? Because I've known them for over 20 plus years. And I can confide in them because they too have gone through situations that I was able to help them out with, that my wife was able to help them out with. And guess what? We come together and we look for the success of each other. Not a jealousy thing. Not a, hey, you're better than me or that. No. We're trying to come together. And even lunch during the week with my brother, man, shout out to Rocky, man. I mean, he's got some intelligence. He's got some, he gives me a different perspective on things that really challenges my thought process. And he is somebody that I value in life. Why? Because he pushes my intelligence. He pushes my thought patterns to the edge. And then, even when I come to him with my own configured thought, he'd give me something else that I never thought about. And shout out to him, man. We iron sharpens iron, man. And we get together once a week for lunch, and I'm always looking forward to those things, those moments, because after we finish eating, so what's going on? How's Menchaca Channel? How's this? Oh, bro, this is it. Well, you got it within you, man. You got it within you to do that. And always inspiring, always looking out for the best. And we need people like that in our lives. If we don't have people like that in our lives, guess what? We're gonna remain stagnant. You can't remain stagnant. You'll get a whole bunch of mosquitoes. You'll get algae and all these other things growing in your water. I'm telling you. But if you want a flowing river, if you want something that's fresh all the time, if you want like minerals and fish and everything in your pond, you want fruitfulness, then guess what? You're going to have to surround yourself by mentors, by spiritual leaders, by people that influence your life. And I'm telling you, don't look at failure as something bad. Look at it as something that you can learn from. It's a scar that hurt in your back. It's a something that caused you pain, but if you are not bitter, you'll become better. And if you become better, you'll learn the lesson of the art of failure. I'm telling you, these Menchaca Channel videos, I'm inspired to do them. And I know that all it takes is one person to view this and share it with somebody else, to subscribe and to help the channel out. I'm telling you, I do this with all my heart with nothing in return, but I just want you to better yourself. So in the over 300 videos that we have, there might be something that will help you out. If there is something that will help you out, please share that in a comment, inspire, motivate, do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, we'll continue to do what we got to do. So I appreciate each and every one of you. The art of failure, I'm telling you, start to look at it in a different light, and it's going to change your mindset, change the path, the course of your life, and you're going to succeed, because success has everything to do with the multiple of failures. Or get a mentor who will curve those failures off your life if you know how to listen. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Menchaca Channel, where inspiration, motivation, and kingdom principles is what we do. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and ring that bell so you can get another episode of Menchaca Channel. And for all of you who want to support Menchaca Channel, we appreciate you doing what you do so that we can do what we do. Hey, the art of failure. Looking at failure in a different light. Everyone in the Bible failed. Every single one, but their end result was of success. And I'm telling you, God strives on using your failures to turn them into victories, to turn them into triumph. Hey, until next time.